You're probably wondering from the title, if the Cobra's broken, why am I driving it? It's kind of one of those things where there's something wrong with it. Definitely something wrong with it. I'm not going to rehash everything on that. I did a video on that last time. I'll link it up there if you want to see it. It's a drag racing video. I broke something at the track. What it is yet, I'm not sure. But the purpose of this is kind of like an overview video of everything that happened with the car this year. This is the last drive I'm doing with it. I'm just going to fill it with gas. I'm taking it back home and pretty much prepping it for winter storage, because this is the middle of November and driving time it's done. It's getting way too cold and not the best time of year to be driving these cars, and cold pavement with drag radials, they don't really mix together all that well. So I'll kind of frame this in terms of talking about everything except what's broken with it. I'll save that for the end and ultimately what that might be, or what my plans are as far as that goes. Excluding that, the rest of the year went really well. Cobra got new wheels. I pulled the front bumper off and redid the whole front heat exchanger, re-stenciled it with the Cobra lettering on it, and fixed a few issues that the car had. I had an e-brake problem. I fixed that. Everything, I did a video on that. But that happened after the problem with the knuckle bearing that went out. That was another thing that happened this year. The knuckle bearing went, and I had a video on that, pulling that all apart. It started out as just a regular noise that I was hearing, and digging into it more, figured out that that's what the problem actually was. Once the new bearings were in there, and the sound went away once they were reinstalled, so that was a problem overall. I hit a lot of really good car shows. One of the better ones was down in Massachusetts. It was a longer drive, but it was a really good show to go to. The big show of the year, of course, was down in Pennsylvania at Carlisle. I didn't bring the Cobra for that, but I did go down, and so that was a lot of fun. Saw a lot of real nice Cobras and a lot of nice Mustangs in general. A lot of nice compliments on the wheels, which I really appreciate. Not that I seek other people's approval for what I do to my car, but it was something different, and there are other Cobras out there with these wheels on it, but you don't see it a whole lot. Not like you see other brands and types of wheels that are more prevalent and far more common than these, and I think they just look really good. I think it's one of the better looking wheels on these cars, but of course that's strictly my opinion. Cobra is all filled with gas for the winter. You might be wondering, why am I putting gas in it for the winter if I'm not driving it? It's not real good to store a vehicle in the winter months on mostly empty tank. This didn't have much gas in it. Pretty much the premise is you fill the tank up all the way, and it helps to prevent any moisture from entering the tank, because there's quite a lot of temperature swings from going into the temperatures of wintertime and then coming out of it for the springtime and early part of the summer, where you get a lot of difference in humidity and moisture content and all that stuff. So it's better just to fill the tank, and prior to recording anything I dumped a whole bottle of Stable, which treats up to 20 gallons, into the tank, so it should be good for the winter storage part of it anyway. And I'll show you what I do now compared to, I've done other videos of storage videos, but I'll show you pretty much what I do now to rodent proof the car, and also to just make sure the car is in good order for when it comes out for next spring. As far as the problem with the car, I'll throw in a clip here. If it didn't come across in this video, I'll throw in a clip here, and you can hear that. And you can hear that on deceleration, it makes this whoop, 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 whoop sound is definitely something that's associated with speed. It sounds like it's coming from the rear end, but I can't entirely say for sure. It's really difficult. As you know, sounds with cars, it can be all kinds of things from where they're actually located to where you're hearing it from. It can differ quite a bit. So pretty much the plan is, I already contacted Cobra Dan, so the car's going to go down there next year, and I'm pretty much going to have him take a look at it. I really don't want to just start taking things apart trying to find out what it is. I would rather have his expertise and have him be able to test drive it and see what he thinks that it is, because it's a lot easier to diagnose it actually having the car in your presence, more so than asking the internet online and posting videos, because it's not the same. You really have to be there and really be able to hear it and see what the car is doing and all that stuff. My speculation is that it is something in the rear end. What that might be, I don't know, anything from the spider gears to the pinion gear to, I know, anything that can be broken involving that whole differential assembly and all that. Could be a multitude of things that are wrong. Could be half shaft related. It could be transmission. That's like best case scenario. If it's anything that's broken that needs to be fixed, other than like maybe something stupid like a U-joint or anything like that, next best case scenario would be something in the rear end, because it's not all that expensive to buy those parts. Even like bringing pinion gears and the differential itself is really not all that bad. But when you're talking about transmission, that's a whole other story as far as, you know, what it would cost to drop that out and fix whatever's wrong with it. And not as if whatever the problem is would require replacing a whole new transmission, because it wouldn't, because it's driving. It's not like it blew the transmission up. But I think the rear end issue is more cost effective for me, being the problem, more so than transmission related. Alright, I'm back home. I'm going to show you guys what I do for winter storage. There'll be a couple of different steps along the way, but I'll show you guys the finished product as well. So what I start with is I use one of these plastic rolls from Lowe's. Let me get the actual box in case anyone else wants to do this. 6 mil 10 by 100 foot plastic sheathing. So basically what I do is I lay this down as the base of where the car is going to be sitting on. I use Gorilla Tape and tape the two pieces together, and what I'll do is I'll drive the car up onto this, and this will provide the protection underneath. I'll explain why in a second. Then what I do, take one of these car covers, PE car cover, really cheap off Amazon. I got this idea from Justin SVT for those covers, not this whole thing. This is my idea. So what I do is I drive the car up onto here. I have some tire savers that I use, which I'll inflate the tires to a higher pressure, drive them on the tire savers for the winter so they don't get flat spotted when I take them out. It's kind of mostly a thing in the past, but I still have had that happen with the car when I haven't driven it for a long time, so I prefer to do that. And then what I do, once the car is driven up onto here, I take that car cover that I showed you and put it on the car, and then I take this plastic sheeting and I wrap it up over the cover and tape them together. Now the reason I do that is, the main reason why people keep cars covered with a car cover on it is to keep the dust off it. I could really care less about dust getting on the car. It's not that big of a deal. what I really care about and what really bothers me for winter storage is we have a lot of mice up here. I have a lot of woods around my garage, and mice will just get into the garage. It's almost impossible to keep them out, at least from this one, without tearing it down and rebuilding an entire garage and making it every little seam and seal completely secure. They still find their way in. Even when the door is open, I go inside to do something, come back out, mice can run in, whatever. So what I do is this provides a base to keep them from getting up underneath the car. So it's wrapped in an entire cocoon throughout the winter, so no mice can get in, and it's covered, so it's good for the whole winter. Now I know that car cover I have, over there on the seat, it's very, very cheap. I know people buy like expensive car covers to put on these cars, which I don't blame them. But the thing is that no matter how expensive your car cover is that covers the top portion of the car, it still doesn't protect it. It still will not protect it from mice coming up from underneath, which is my big problem. So I did this last year and it worked out great. I had no issues at all with any mice or anything like that. I have with cars in the past, not my other torch or Terminator I had, but a 94 Cobra that I had long before YouTube was even a thing. Or maybe it was, I can't remember. But either way, I had a mouse get into that car over the winter, and they made a nest inside the car. It was like up underneath the rear seat, and it smelled like mouse piss and mouse crap, and it was terrible. So ever since then, I've been very vigilant on trying to keep mice from being able to get into the car. So this is the best solution that I can come up with, is doing this, other than buying one of those car capsules, which costs anywhere from like $600 to $1,000. And I keep the windows cracked so it's ventilated. This isn't airtight, so there's still airflow, so the car doesn't get all musty and mildewy, and the windows are cracked open so it still gets airflow, and I don't wrap it so tight that air can't get in. So that's kind of my premise. I'll go through and get the car all situated and wrapped up and show you guys a final product at the end. One thing I didn't mention is I do take the battery out. Everyone says Optima is complete garbage, but this has been in the car since I've had it. I believe it was a 2023 battery or maybe earlier, but I've had no problems with it. I pull the battery out, bring it inside, and just leave it on a trickle charger, and it seems to do fine. So this is the car, completely wrapped up. It looks absolutely terrible and hideous, but it performs the job that I needed to do very well. Every once in a while I have to come out and maybe touch up a few parts of the tape that have come undone. But as you see, it completely protects the underneath from any mice getting in there, and it's just like a little cocoon. It's kind of like wrapped like a Christmas present, and in the springtime I get to unwrap it and enjoy it all over again for the summer. So as far as Cobra content, it's done for the year, for me anyway. I may still do Cobra related videos, but won't be in present time with the car. Maybe stuff that I just revisit and talk about later on. I do have some more long-range shooting videos coming up, hand loading, things like that, and I'll be updating the channel with that stuff throughout the winter. So if you're interested in that stuff, I'll have that coming out as well. That's pretty much it. Cobra's done for the year. Too bad it's kind of broken right now, but we'll figure that out next year and get it fixed, and it'll be as good as new. If you're new to the channel, the sub button is down below, but above all else, thanks for watching.